Good morning, everyone.
I am telling you. Oh my.
Prior to beginning the meeting, someone has an echo. Can we mute those?
There's a really bad echo on our end too.
Do you have to mute that one?
I'm gonna mute all right now, so that way, we can take care of it. And with that, Chairman, we're ready to go if you're ready to proceed. 10 o'clock.
Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. on Thursday, January 11th, and this is the Technical Advisory Committee meeting for the Rgv Mpo. I am Ramon Navarro, and I am the Vice Chair, and will be filling in for Mr. Warson this morning due to a conflict. And with that being said, Mrs. Estrada, may we go forth with the roll call, ma'am?
Good morning, everyone. Roll call. Cameron County. Hidalgo County.
Present.
City of Mission. City of Brownsville.
Good morning, everyone. Present.
City of Edinburgh. City of Harlingen. City of McAllen.
Present.
City of FAR. City of San Benito.
Present.
Hidalgo County.
Present.
Stark County. TxDOT. Cameron County RMA.
Present.
Brownsville Metro. McAllen Metro.
Present.
Port of Brownsville. Port of Harlingen.
Present.
Port Isabel San Benito Navigation District. Cameron County Spaceport. Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is JP Terrazas with the City of Mission. Just want to say that I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, got it.
With that being acknowledged, we should have quorum, I believe. And
Yes, sir.
Do we have any public comment?
No, sir, we haven't received any, not unless if there's anybody online that would like to make a public comment.
Opportunity, the floor is open. Hearing none, we'll move forth with action items. Action item A, approval of the minutes from November 30th, 2023. These were electronically submitted to everyone. Is there any corrections or amendments to the minutes? Hearing none, I'm requesting a motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
Thank you. Followed with a second.
Second, TCRMA.
Thank you. Minutes have been approved. Moving on to item B, discussion and action on the February 2024 STIP and the, public involvement amendments, etc. I know the MPO staff has been diligently working on the public involvement. Today wraps up the last day. And for more information before taking action on this and discussion, Mr. Zamora, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning to all of our committee members. as our chairman mentioned right now, we did have public involvement scheduled from December 11th to January 11th. So we've wrapped up our public involvement for the February 2024 revision cycle. Included within your packet, we have the draft tables of both the short range plan, which is our TIP, our long range MTP, with any modifications notated, either highlighted on the MTP or in red text listed as so on the highway and transit tip. So being that we are now completed our public involvement, we're now presenting these draft tables to TAC for approval today, pending any further discussion, any items that may need to be addressed, any concerns regarding these projects. I'd be happy to address those today. If not, we will require approval by our committee today, and then again, approval by our policy board at the end of this month. So referencing the summary sheet that's now on the screen, if there's any questions regarding these projects, I'll be happy to address those at this time.
The floor is open for discussion prior to voting. I know there was a couple of items pending as far as the restructuring or the moving of some financing from the county's request. I don't know if action was taken up on that or if any of the programming for Nolana Loop and all of, I know TxDOT did not respond. I don't know if they're present. But like we said, now is the time to move and discuss prior to any actions.
Thank you, Chairman, for bringing that up. I know that was also included. It has its own page because there's quite a bit of information that we wanted to share. We have been in conversations with the county. We did receive a response after we forwarded this information to them. So we are in communication with them. I believe we're going to be looking forward towards either the next revision cycle, which will be the May revision cycle for 2024 for this current TIP, which covers years 23 to 26. We're also going to be preparing for the new TIP, which will cover fiscal years 25 to 28. We're also going to be comprising a brand new MTP, which will be the 2050 MTP that we'll hope to have ready before the end of the year. So I'm sure there'll be some continued collaboration on not only this project, but many others as we look forward to programming both this last few revision cycles for this current TIP, our new TIP and new MTP. But yes, if there's any questions or concerns regarding this particular Nolana Loop project or any others that are on the amendment sheet, we can address those at this time.
Did see that Dora had a hand up earlier.
Yes, thank you, Luis. Good morning. This is Dora with TxDOT. I did submit a comment regarding one of the projects that's currently up for revision. We were able to resolve a small issue. I think it was with Liberty Boulevard regarding the limits. So we are not proposing to reverse the limits as initially submitted. So I just wanted to point that out. I did send in an email just before the meeting.
Yes, thank you, Dora. I did receive that. I know we had a brief phone call yesterday, so we just wanted to clear that up with the county as well, with Precinct 3, who we've been working with to make sure that we have both the cost and funding information correct before we proceed with any additional administrative amendments. And knowing that now that we don't need to reverse the limits, it will not constitute a revision, which helps the approval process, expedite things, if you will. So thank you for that. And we'll be in continued communication with both the district and the county as we move forward with modifying that project as needed, making any adjustments that are necessary, as well as any other projects, any information that might come in before policy board approval.
If there's no further discussion, your next opportunity, as we just heard, will be sometime later in the year. Collaboration is ongoing. These are moving targets, and this is a living document. So we anticipate many more amendments or revisions. Hearing no more discussion or no more concern, we move to for a motion to accept this.
I'll motion to accept.
Is there a second?
And second, City of
Second.
Brownsville.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The ayes rule and the motion is passed. Moving on to item C, discussion and action on the adoption of the safety performance measures and targets. This is page 153 of your agenda. And this is also an ongoing item that the staff has been diligently working on. Mr. Arispe, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, good morning, TAG members. The item we have before you today is our annual adoption of safety targets for the 5 safety performance measures set forth by the US DOT. Here on this page, there's a little bit of background as to why we adopt this annually, a little bit of the requirements here. States and MPOs are required to adopt safety targets on an annual basis. On the next page, here are the 5 safety performance measures that we are required to adopt. And on the next page, here for the 2024 safety targets, the NPOs, what we're agreeing to is to incorporate them into our decision-making processes, basically our TIP and MTP revisions and developments. Safety targets, like I mentioned, are adopted annually. And as part of the framework that we developed last year with the Alliance Transportation Group, we are taking a step further into analyzing safety data for our region. So we're looking at those trends, seeing how we compare to the state as far as the 5 mentioned performance measures. So right now, since we do have a deadline of February 27 to adopt measures, we are recommending we move forward as we have previously with the statewide safety performance measures, adopting the statewide targets. If at a further time, based on those analysis that we are still working on, we decide that we may want to adjust any of the targets for any of the 5 measures, then we can come back at a later time and do so. But for now, our recommendation is to move forward with the statewide targets, just like we have previously. If there's any questions, I can address those at this time. And again, this is something that we are still looking at based on the framework that was developed throughout the last year, 2023.
Thank you for that background, Mr. Arispe. You've heard staff's recommendation. Any further discussion or concerns to bring forth? Hearing none, we ask for a motion to approve the 5 items as presented.
Yep, City of Brownsville motion.
Thank you for that. May we have a second?
I'll second.
Great. It's been moved and second for accepting the discussions and action items for adoption of safety performance measures and targets. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The ayes pass, and item C has been adopted. Moving on to item D, safe streets and roads. Just a point of information, the scoring sheet was sent out electronically, and we did have 3 submittals or proposals for this item. This is an action item, and Mr. Cantu, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. As mentioned, yes, the scoring sheet was sent out and another email, and so it's not included in the packet, but I have included it just for the presentation. Here is the 3 consultant firms that submitted: ATG, LJA, and TJKM. So we got more activity for this one, for this RFP, which is great. We got 3 submittals. Usually we get about 1 or 2. So it's very good that the outreach is getting better for this. We met on Monday to score these, and on your screen right now, you can see their scores, and the recommendation that the subcommittee gave was to go with TJKM as they scored the highest according to our evaluation form. And that is staff's recommendation. Does continue with the subcommittee's request to choose TJKM as the consultant for this contract. If there's any questions, I will entertain them now.
Floor is open for discussion prior to movements. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, we move forth with a motion or ask for a motion to request that TGKM be the consultant of selection for the Safe Streets and Roads projects. May I have a motion?
So move, CCRMA.
Do I hear a second?
Second, City of Edinburgh.
It's been moved in second by the City of Edinburgh and CCRMA to go forth with TGKM as the selected consultant for the Safe Streets and Roads project. All in favor, say aye.
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 All against, please say nay. Ayes pass, and TGK will be the selected consultant. Moving on to.
Ramon, if I may, I just had a quick question. When we're grading all of these, the criteria, is it something that the MPO sets, or is it statutorily set? And I'm talking about the individual categories. As I'm looking at the item right now on the screen, it's project understanding, scope of service, project manager, knowledge firm, all of that. Is that statutorily set, or is that something that we set? And by we, I mean the MPO.
I believe the subcommittee goes forth and staff goes forth with scoring and the questions and the rating as far as the percentages. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Cantu, could you provide additional information, or Mr. Diaz?
Yes, so these scorings are recommended by staff and presented to the subcommittee. So we come in agreement of what the weights are and what were the qualifications. If they want to be changed or anything, they could be changed at the subcommittee meeting, or if TAC recommends, we could change it here as well. But yes, if you would like to change these weights or any other scores or any of it, how they're evaluated, we could bring it up and go from there and change them. Just FYI, before the RFP is sent in the RFP, it does say how they're going to be weighted, scored, and evaluated. So if we're going to do another RFP, we want to change these, we got to change it beforehand, before the RFP goes out, so the consultants can know how they're being evaluated for their project.
Perfect. Now, is there any prohibitions? One of the things that I always bring this up, and I know particularly as it pertains to federal grants, but is there any prohibitions on these state grants? Because this is a state grant, right?
This is a federal grant.
Oh, it's a federal grant. Okay. All right. No, I know there's some prohibitions where, we want to try and keep as much of these grants, in my opinion, and maybe different for everyone, but we want to keep them as local as we can. And I know in the federal procurement, there's a prohibition on that you can't put that as part of your scoring. And so I think
it should be noted, one of the areas does involve knowledge with the area. So while it's not the only selection criteria, or it's not the only rationale behind the selection, it's part of it. And as far as local, I guess I'll let MPO staff kind of catch us up on some of the things that they're doing. I'm on the review committee, by the way, so I had heard about it. So I would like for Fernando to maybe speak a little bit about how we're going to conduct and maybe possibly have a system in place where as RFPs are pushed out, the acknowledgement or pulling down of those RFPs by any and all firms or interested parties will be collected. So we have a better record idea as to who's looking at these procurements, who's responding, obviously, and who's just not responding at all.
So going on forward from now, there is when we email these RFPs out, there is now a survey that goes along with it that says thank you for reviewing this. Please acknowledge that if you're going to submit, please submit. If not, fill out the survey saying I'm not submitting for X reason, and please remove me from the mailing list if I no longer want to be part of it. At the subcommittee, it was brought up that there's actual websites that provide a service that can do this as well, like open.gov. And there was another website that was recommended. That is something we're actually going to look at too, to see if we can start putting the RFPs there so it can be more nationwide, and like that. Using those online bases actually says who clicked on it, who read it, who downloaded the packet. So we can see that not just a very few people read it, but we get an actual analytic report from who's clicking and who's viewing our RFP.
Thank you all very much. And Eric, thank you for that information. That's again, we're trying to do the best job that we can, but we also need to help build up our home base as well. So thank you all very much.
That's where, either them as lead prime or as strong subs, right, can make a big difference, especially with outreach and local knowledge. So we definitely look at that when we review any of these proposals, just so that, the amount of trying to get that learning curve out of the way also matters in terms of how much staff time is spent and stakeholder time is spent in catching up somebody. But then you also have those firms that once in a while come in with some pretty good record. At TJKM, for instance, was probably the only firm that came out and put dollar amounts as to how much they've been able to get other MPOs and local governments in terms of safety improvement grants. So, they have some things that we're going to hold their feet to the fire to as well, and dashboards and tools that I think we'll be able to leverage for it. I guess one thing to note, this procurement was for something that is for us to have a toolkit to then go produce our own regional or sub-region, or even community-based safe streets for all, but leverage what the MPO is providing here through this contract. And so it'll be a storehouse of record of speaking in one voice with a technical sheet of music that I think will help us all be a lot more productive in our grant pursuits. Instead of everybody kind of going on their own and learning on their own, we're able to iterate that faster and bring more money to the region. So we hope that that'll work with this firm.
Thank you, Mr. Garza, for expressing your concerns, and thank you, subcommittee members, and Mr. Cantu for entertaining the inquiries. And we move forward, staying on to the agenda with presentations and reports. First report for information is the request for a donation of promotional items for public outreach. Mr. Cantu, you're still on the floor, sir.
Yes. So as the new year comes around, we've noticed that our promotional items in our closet has been dwindling away with all of our public involvement that we've been doing. One thing that we recently learned, or not recently learned, but that we knew, is that we cannot use planning funds to get promotional items and advertisement. So I wanted to reach out and ask if any of y'all have any promotional items that are out of date or would like to share with us. Any promotional items will be great. They'll be displayed in our table when we're doing public involvement. And we all know that the promotional items is what attracts people to our table. And that's how we start the communication on our projects and anything that we have to present. So if any of y'all would like to donate any promotional items, it will be great. It'll show your logo and your company at our table as one of our planning partners. And that's it. I'm looking for water bottles, pencils.
I was going to say, we are talking about pens, papers, notepads, koozies, whatever it may be, something under $25.
And that I can't for the public.
Yes. Nothing too fancy, right?
Right. Quick question. How were promotional materials purchased before?
Before, we did have a local funds account that we would use. That local fund came from the 5K event registrations that we would do, some border trade conferences that we would do. But since COVID and all that stuff, and when we merged, we haven't brought back up the 5K runs or the border trade advisory events. And because of that, our local funds have finished. So we don't have local funds to purchase new promotional items.
Just FYI, a hot ticket item at, we do a lot of outreach at, 5K community events for Fuego, and the Toro tag and the sunglasses are like the hot commodity. So if anyone wants to move some units with your name on it, that's the way to do it.
No pun intended with Fuego and sunglasses, right?
They go together well.
All right, hearing no further discussion, the board acknowledges this request. And we're moving on to item B, GIS data requesting. This is also an ongoing task that staff is diligently working on. And I know a lot of the smaller cities, the people that are not at the table, do utilize this tool. And I think it's important that we all contribute as far as promoting these tools. But with that being said, Mr. Cantu, the floor is yours on this subject for GIS data requesting.
Yeah, so again, since it's the beginning of the year, I'm here to request GIS data. I know the UMAP website gets used a lot by a lot of people, the public and private sectors. Mainly what we're looking for is any information that you see on our UMAP that needs to be updated, please share with us. I know every year city limits get annexed, ETJs and all that stuff. So not everybody submits the new updates throughout the year, but I know if we do it yearly, at least yearly it gets updated and it shows a good representation of what everything should be. And like mentioned before, anything inside the UMAP or any other items that you would love to see on UMAP, please share with us. Like that we can update it and discuss if we can put any new data on there that you would like to see on there that that would be beneficial to the public to view on our website.
Is there a standing committee on this, or is this all work just being done by the staff?
This is all staff work. Right. Our GIS department is the one that handles all of that information.
Thank you. Board acknowledges your GIS data request. Moving on to item C, the Rgv Mpo Executive Director's Report. Mr. Diaz, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. So for the budget, since we started our new budget year in October, we've totally expended $149,764.24. What should have been spent, I guess the maximum amount would have been $354,088.87. So we're well within budget at this point in time. I did want to share too that we do have a couple of FC requests that we've been working towards getting through FHWA. I know that there's been some letters of support and some resolutions passed, so we really appreciate all of that. So, we're working forward and, hopefully soon we'll have something to report back on our findings and work towards functionally classifying the roadways that we've gotten requests for. So I just wanted to update to share with everyone that we're diligently working on all of that. And that's all I have. If there's anything for me or any questions, I could take them at this time. Thank you.
Any questions or concerns from any of the board members? Hearing none, we acknowledge the Rgv Mpo Executive Director's Report, and we move on to item D, TxDOT Status Report. And I believe I don't know who's presenting that, but TxDOT, the floor is yours.
Yes, hi, good morning. This is Dora Robles with the TxDOT FAR District. For the record, just wanted to provide you all with a very quick update regarding some of our projects that led in the 11 months of last calendar year. So we did have 2 projects with Cameron County that we have concluded our bid analysis, and those are those first 2 projects listed, the Olmito Town site and the Las Palmas. These are some sidewalk improvements. We are working with the county to schedule these projects to re-let. Unfortunately, they did receive each one bid, and it was deemed non-responsive. So we're going to be in close contact with them to try to get those projects scheduled again for letting. The project with the city of FAR, we also concluded, we actually received their bid analysis and recommendation as well. There were some issues with the bid itself. Some items were left out, and the city of FAR is actually recommending to relet the project as well. So we're going to be working with them as well to schedule that here pretty quickly. The project with UTRGV, we are well underway with the bid analysis as well, and we fortunately did have, I believe, 3 bids at least, and so we are hoping to get that project awarded here pretty soon. City of Bronzeville, I think we're still in the middle of the bid analysis, so we hopefully will have an update for y'all here pretty soon as well. In the month of January, we did have one on-system project open bids earlier in the month. So I'll have hopefully an update for y'all next month. And then looking ahead in February, we did have some projects, the I-Road projects with the city of FAR. I just received word that there's a likelihood these projects are going to have to be moved to March. We're working with the city to address some final comments in the PSNE. So more than likely, we're going to be having to move that to March. And then beyond that, it is a busy spring and summer. City of FAR does have quite a few projects, as you all can see. There's 3 projects at the port of entry. They're at the FAR Bridge. They're going to be scheduled for letting in March. And then we do have a non-system project, FM 676, that I think we have all been waiting very anxiously to let. And then, of course, in April, the Twin Bridge there at the FAR International Bridge, and then another project in the vicinity of the port of entry there in FAR. So we have a very busy letting, which is good. You know, we're looking forward to working with our LG partners and ensure that we have some successful projects here going into construction. With that said, I will be happy to entertain any questions from anybody.
Any questions or concerns for Ms. Robles? Hearing none, on some of these changes or ongoing analysis, please do not wait. If it's urgent, I know if your staff or city government needs responses prior to the next meeting, I'm sure Ms. Robles and staff are readily available to entertain any questions or concerns you may have upon a review or a bid analysis that may come up. The board acknowledges TxDOT's project status report. We move on to item 6, other business, old or new. The floor is open for any information. I know I'd just like to announce that the next policy or the next technical advisory committee will be in person on February 8th, and that will be at 10 a.m. in Weslaco. Other than that, the floor is open for discussion. Any items, new or old business, to be brought forth? Hearing none, I move for a motion to adjourn. Anybody making a motion?
Yes, City of
Motion
Bronzeville
by
motion.
TxDOT.
So moved.
It's been moved in second for adjournment.
No, don't end the meeting.
Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
This concludes our meeting. It is now
Thank you.
10:33 on January 11th, 2024.
Great job, Mr. Nomato. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.